the stream. My name is Lee, and we have a Gourmand's Guide to Gastromancy. So, for those of you who don't know, I'm Lee. I do, Lee stuff. That sounds silly. Basically, I do a random. I edit the Grey Hawk Wiki on Wednesdays, which sent me for yesterday, and basically, I just talk about cool TTRPG stuff, and sometimes writing stuff, and sometimes just other stuff. Any cool, vaguely nerdy fandom is, yeah. But usually TTRPG stuff, including all these random supplements that I have accrued over the years, because, streamers I liked swore by them, or, were working with them, or because I backed the Kickstarter, or they were in a bundle that I got for some charity purpose, and now I just have them, or, um, sometimes I do, I don't know if you know Chantel, she does Wonderland Oz, and she does a bunch of old modules. I've definitely featured her work on here before, and I think I bought her Cyclops one, just to bump it over into the copper bestseller tier. I want to say anyway. Point being, Gourmand, yes, this one. So, yesterday I was doing my sometimes, or no, Tuesday. Yesterday was Greyhawk Day. Tuesday I was doing the hey, let's dig through the files on my computer and see if I have any random TTRPG stuff that I haven't shared yet. And I found a bunch of them that I had gone over a little bit on stream, but not a bunch. And I was just like poking through. I was like, oh, here's this one, here's this one. And I did a poll. Which one should we focus on Thursday? And I got 2 votes. The poll was in the Discord, by the way. If you're not in there, you should be. It's fun. We do shenanigans. I do writing prompts sometimes. I used to. I know I haven't done one in a while, but you know, I might. I might just do one. See if anyone I can get people to bite. I always fill them out, and then I have a couple other people who do, and then um, you know, fun stuff. Okay, sorry, I'm rambling a little bit. I tend to ramble, but I think I'm compared to usually. This is way more um, where are we going into this? Uh, way more. Hang on, let me see if we can. No, Ninja. Yeah, there we go. Not great, but sorry, it's always a this is the thing with streaming. It's getting it right, getting the sizing for stuff right. Yeah. So that this is I would say if you're a streamer, this is like getting things to line up, fixing your mic when the mic doesn't work, and like the fussy little things like that's gonna be a big thing. Anyway, since I already had the topic of the stream chosen, by a vote. I'll double check the. Oh, I should also do the thing. Sorry, I'm a little off because it is Lent, and that means no sweets, and a few other things. No alcohol, no. There are a few things I'm giving up. Part of my general sweet for the year. And Lent is a thing. It's also Ramadan, so I'm not fasting. Luckily, I did a sun up to sundown fast yesterday. I don't know if I could do that every day for a month. Power to those who do. I you know admire your uh, verve and devotion. I could not. Um. Um. Yep. Okay, so that is the plan. Oh yeah, the plan was for me to go to the Discord and a um um uh okay. So, blech, I'm just gonna do the thing. So, usually when I have Twitch, I do have ads on my channel, which I appreciate you hanging around to watch the ads because it gives me like a penny every time you do. So, it adds up. Um, you can get around them by subbing, but I wouldn't presume to ask you to do that. But point being, well, the ad breaks also give me an opportunity to, because I'm always lagging behind late. Um, it does give me a chance to do um, um, bio break and get liquid, and like do a setup, get myself properly set, and then start streaming proper. But it usually gets me a little chance to warm up, do the intro, and also figure out what we're streaming about. But today we know what we're streaming about. Oh, I just probably should check the poll and see if. Nope, still only 2 votes, and both of them for the food magic ones. So I procure BioBreak liquid snack. I will be back. Well, you can look at a picture of Addie because she's such a cutie pie. Because she's adorable, and there'll be an ad break. I'm sure some of the products will be fun and nice, and then come back, and then we actually start poking at this stuff. What's it? Okay. Hi. Oh, okay. Perfect timing. Hang on. Let me get one more thing. I didn't. Oh, I did have them here. Okay. I didn't get coffee, but I have water, so I think we'll be okay. And if it gets to be really bad, I will do a thing. So, welcome everyone. I am Lee. It is Lent. Sorry. Well, I'm just grumpy because my body's trying to get used to the no sugar thing. And, well, no sweets. I have savory cracker treats, which probably have sugar in them because that's how life works. But they're good for body and soul. Um, okay. So, A Gourmand's Guide to Gastromancy is, um, practically Daniel Kahn. Okay. Um, Look at the little mouse. Look at this little mouse guy trying to defeat a ooze. Cover art. Kiss. So, the artist known as Kiss. Made this gorgeous piece of art. Okay. So, alright. Let's start with this one. This book is inspired, first and foremost. Or, hang on. Yes, okay. I just want to make sure I can see chat. In case anyone pops in and wants to say hi in the chat. I highly encourage people saying hello in the chat. It was always appreciated. This book is inspired. Alright, I probably should be practicing my voice. This book is inspired, first and foremost, by a love of food. The love of cooking and feasting together cuts across all our cultures and places. We feel it in restaurants with the white tablecloths and kitchens with weathered old stools. Food carries the weight of tradition, the nostalgia of memories, the strength of human beings caring for one another. Food is an ode to the Seder, the potluck, the brunch, the secret recipes and bodega sandwiches. There's a special relationship between food and stories. Shared meals are a chance to bond and tell our own tales, to spark connections and sometimes tension. There's also something intrinsically magical about food. Think of the witch and her cauldron, Alice and her mushrooms, salt and sage, and the eye of newt. What better match than bringing together the magic of food and the magic of tabletop storytelling? Our writers took inspiration from everything from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory to Ratatouille, from The Great British Bake Off to Pajama Sam 3, which I have no idea what that is, but um, we hope you'll bring your own food inspirations to this book as well. I remember Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs was my when I was young. Not the movie. The movie's okay. I haven't seen the sequel, but the original movie's okay. But um, it's a 2000 adventure game. Hmm. You are what you eat, from your head to your feet. Oh, sounds fun. But yeah, Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. The original picture book. They didn't have a whole lot of plot. Um, um, you know, uh, the um, uh, the the disaster was a natural disaster in the book. Well, it did have a bit of plot. Basically, it was a natural disaster, not a man-made um, messing with the weather, and it was a natural phenomenon too. The raining food was just a natural phenomenon rather than uh, um yeah. And anyway, it was a lot of fun. Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. How to use this book. A Gourmand's Guide to Gastromancy empowers you to play a fully food-themed game of Dungeons and Dragons, or just add a little extra seasoning to your story. It's perfectly fine to use the content that suits your table and leave the rest. For example, you might decide to let your players choose from the Gastromancy spell list as freely as they would choose from the player's handbook, or you could judiciously grant them a special new Gastromancy spell as a reward for completing a quest. The world is your oyster. Mm. Actually, oysters would be really good right now. Sorry. Um, Here is a section by section guide using the book. Adventures. This book contains 3 ready to play one shot adventures that can be slotted into your regular campaign or played as standalone quests, complete with gastronomical monsters, items, maps, and characters. You can choose an adventure based on party level 1 through 6 or based on meal, breakfast, dinner, and dessert. Let your players get into the edible action from the jump with food-themed character creation. These sections offer your player a variety of culinary origins and experiences to craft unique adventures. Magical items and monsters. For the magically delicious foes and rewards, these sections offer enchanted items and creatures, stat blocks ready for your homebrewed adventure. Subclasses. As your players level up, this section offers more player options to explore and flavor traditional spellcasting classes. Spells. We are pleased to offer the select tasting menu of 20 delectable spells from the School of Gastromancy. Bon appetit! Recipes. We even got covered with snacks. Check out this section for tasty pairings you can cook for your sessions. There's a recipe to accompany each adventure in A Gourmand's Guide to Gastromancy, plus an endlessly adaptable trail mix for all your homebrewed adventures. It's commonly known throughout the universe that bringing snacks for your DM is the quickest way to earn inspiration. I play at a virtual table, so my players cannot bring me snacks. In fact, the opposite is there are certain players who come to my table to whom I will DoorDash tasty treats as a bribe. But you know, yeah, at a virtual table that's harder. All right. This content is designed to operate into the classic fantasy world, including campaigns set in official Dungeons & Dragons 5e settings, such as Forgotten Realms. That being said, If talking cupcakes or feral carrot blights feel out of place in your setting, you can always send your players on a trip into the Feywild or wacky demi-plane of food shenanigans, perhaps subcasting plane shift with a dinner fork. A note from Dan. As of writing this, I am days or hours away from becoming a new dad. Ooh, that's exciting. Whilst I may still be a long way from getting to roll dice with my kid, it's been a wonderful, powerful inspiration for this book. It's so important that this game we love be accessible for folks of all ages, families, and kids getting their first chance to explore a world as big as their imaginations. Thank you for your support. And love and please enjoy Gourmand's Guide to Gastromancy. Okay, I realized that I didn't have chat, and it didn't work. Didn't matter because no one said anything, but that's pretty cool. Congratulations to Dan. That was probably, this was a few years, it was before I got my new computer. So this was within the last 5 years. So this kid is probably like the actual like human being who can hold semi-intelligent conversations at this point, which is kind of cool. Um, you know, yeah, because it's definitely been at least 2 or 3 years. Well, actually, there was probably a date. Usually, publishing has dates. 2023. Oh wow, yeah, this kid's like an actual getting to becoming an actual person. 3-year-olds are surprisingly, settings. Okay, adventures. So there's the carrot incident. Okay, why don't we start friendly adventure parties level 1 to 2. Okay, why don't I start? I could start with the adventures, but I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to ancestries, backgrounds, magic items. We're gonna go to the later section of the book. I think first. I might go back to the adventures, but I think we ended up going over the adventures at some point. I remember the sugar strike one. Let's see. Fey touched morsel. Ooh. Before playing a character of this ancestry, make sure to get an opt-in from all players at your table, including the DM. Talk to everyone at the table about how much Fey touched morsel may stand out or affect the tone of the campaign. Discuss with other players, especially the DM, how NPCs might react to such a character in the world you are playing in, and make sure everyone is okay with it. We did have, Fey touched morsels were humanoids until they crossed a powerful Fey. A human noble scorned by their people tells a hag, "I want everyone to love me," and the hag turns them into a strawberry with arms and legs. An elf experiments with Feywild magic and turns himself into a croissant. A halfling chef offends the wrong archfey by not offering vegetables with dinner, and so she is turned into a carrot. Possibilities are as boundless and unpredictable as the Feywild itself. These transformations typically change a creature's torso and head to resemble particular food while maintaining full functioning senses, organs, and limbs. A banana morsel might keep their old face, but now find it is attached to a long banana torso. A Danish morsel might have fruit filling for a heart. They still require food, drink, and sleep. Fey touched morsels often joke and debate about what type of foods are ethical to eat. Fey touched morsels are so rare and rarely meet one another. As a result, they do not have a community or culture that is uniquely their own. Some cherish their unique heritage and idiosyncrasies, standing outside of any group, while others may go out of their way to look for a community where they can find common passions or beliefs to bond over. Since few on the material plane have ever heard of the magic that creates the Fey touch morsel, it is difficult to predict how others will treat one. They have it's not the same thing. It's actually a different. The mechanics of it are different, and the background, but the or the background of it is different. But they have a similar food type, creature in, what's the one? Oh, um, the race, the book of gajillion races that we'd spent months, several months worth of Sundays going over it every, um, and I can't even remember the name, but actually I could probably look it up. But my point on that is we had let's see, Arcana. That's the one. Tales of Arcana. It's kind of generic, but they had another one. I actually had someone play a piece of cheese, a bard who was also a piece of cheese in the campaign. He got eaten by the sphagnum, the moss creature that the ranger did eventually tame. I think, who then followed them around. The player was had a falling out with the group we were with on an upper level. Anyway, it was drama. It was one of our All on the Table, and I think you can still watch the All on the Table episodes on their YouTube channel, which I will link because um, yeah, but we had someone play a piece of cheese, which is it's a lot of fun, I will say. Um, 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 nope, that's not the right one. All right, I'll have to find it later. But my point being, um, um, no, I know where to go. Anyway, my point being, oh, I had a point vis-a-vis all of this. Oh yes, food, Fey touch morsels. We get very distracted. Unique origins. No two Fey touch morsels are alike. A character can start as a Fey touch morsel or become one during the course of the campaign. Because of its ancestry describes someone after transformation, work with your DM to help establish your backstory. The following questions can help guide the discussion. How did your character become a Fey touch morsel? How much of their body looks like a morsel? How long have they been this way? Can becoming a Fey touch morsel be reversed? Is this something you want to pursue as a character arc? If someone turned you into a Fey touch morsel, do you want revenge? If you don't know how you turn into a Fey touch morsel, do you want to pursue the mystery? Cute muffin. Okay, look. He's a cute little muffin guy, okay? With a wizard hat. It's a muffin with a wizard hat, okay? It's kind of cool. Sorry. Keep the names they had before their transformation. Others choose nicknames after the transformation. Cleaver, Glory, Meal Ticket, Sprout, Sunny, Sweetie. Common nicknames. Okay. And then there's sub-ancestries. Two sub-ancestries, Fey touch morsel exist. Pastry and Produce. Choose one of them. Fey touch morsel character has following traits. Physical maturity upon transformation and tend to live 200 years. So no physical signs of aging. So you get 200 years after you get transformed. Let's see. Fey. Chosen upon smaller, medium-sized creature, which is chosen upon character creation. From 2 to 7 feet tall, depending on their body shape. Around 25 pounds of small, 115 of medium. Base walking speed of 30 feet. Chaotic individuals may be more likely to make deals with Fey that transform them, but transformation can also cause a major change in someone's alignment. Languages. Common plus one language you and your DM agree is appropriate, so something from before. Oh, haha. Hang on a sec. All on the Table is a group of RPG people. I was a part of their. I am a part of their group. I don't. I'm not fair. I'm a not quite as much of a regular as I used to be, but I do occasionally pop in for one shots. And I ran a game um the third Saturday of every month for quite some time. Where I played as I was the dungeon master among a group running through the Feywild Wonderland. No, they got suckered into plane shifted into Wonderland. Um, and then after that, we're in on the continent of Arcana and Planet Genesis, and we're running around and getting into fist fights and hooking up with cute lesbians. Yeah, it was shenanigans to be had. It was a great time. Okay. But yes. But that was the campaign in which there was a small chunk of cheese as one of the characters. Magically delicious. And you can increase an attribute score of your choice by 1. Grow a number of magical treats equal to your proficiency bonus. You can hand some of these treats to others to keep them for yourself. When someone is holding a treat, and makes an ability check using a skill, they may eat the treat and roll the d6 immediately after, seeing the number on the d20 and add the number on the d6 to the check. So it's after it's rolled, but before you know if it succeeded or failed. You can pop it on for a d6. Fey influence allows you to taste nearby magic, like an unusually sweet or smoky or other sensation filling the taste buds. Detect magic spell and cast it a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus. Without expending a spell slot. So that's pretty cool. So then you have either a pastry or produce. So +2 charisma. Say you have an interest in social intrigue, tend to transform their morsels into pastry. Common pastry morsels include a resemblance to loaves of bread, cookies, or muffins. The Fey magic affecting your body also protects your mind. You have advantage on saving throws to void or end the charm condition on yourself. That's pretty cool. Disarming appeal. Gain proficiency in deception or persuasion. If you're trying to convince someone you are not a threat, you may add double your proficiency bonus to this check. So you get advantage on persuasion or deception, and if it's used to convince, and anytime you need to convince someone you're not a threat, you get double proficiency bonus, which I think is pretty cool. Fae who abhor social intrigue and prefer the outdoors tend to transform their morsels into produce, making them hardier and more in tune with nature. Common produce morsels include resemblance to fruits, vegetables, or mushrooms. Or fruits, mushrooms, or vegetables. Increase your constitution by 2. You may increase different attribute by 2, but not the attribute increased by 1. Thick skin. You've developed thicker skin to protect you. When not wearing armor, your armor class is 13 plus dex, so you just get a +2 armor bonus. Sprout. You know the Druidcraft or Detect Ingredients cantrip. On 3rd level, you learn either Good Berry or Satiation. At 5th level, you learn either Protection from Poison or Scour. You can cast the chosen spell with this trait. Once you cast the spell, you can't cast again to finish a long rest. So it's once per day. You can also cast these spells using any spell slot you have of the appropriate level. So you can cast them using your spell slots if you have spell slots. During character creation, choose Intelligence, Wisdom, or Charisma as your spellcasting attribute for this feature. Probably you're choosing whatever you're choosing for your class levels too. Like if you're a bard, you're probably choosing Charisma just because a banana bard. Sorry. Now here's the banana fun song stuck in my head. A gourmand. So this is delightful cooks. The gourmands hail from the domain of delight in the Fey realm, awakened as a jest to by an anonymous archfey of the summer court. While at first many Fey viewed the gourmands with bemused indifference, they rapidly discovered that these diminutive mouse-like folk are incredible natural chefs, and some of the finest Epicureans in all the realm. Having a brigade of gourmands staffing one's household kitchen is a particular badge of status, refinement, and privilege. Okay, what the heck? We are doing a vocab time. Pre-roll ads are on. Okay. We're doing a vocab check. Epicureans, definition. Definition. Devoted to the pursuit of sensual pleasure, especially employment of good food and comfort. Ooh, alright. That's fun. Wait, that is from American Heritage. Alright, that's from, allegedly from American Heritage. Hang on. Collins. Yes, especially unusual or rare food. Epicurean food is of very good quality. It's an adjective, according to Collins' dictionary, which is the one that made my French-English translational dictionary. So is a very good quality, especially unusual or rare food. Okay. Devoted to sensual pleasure, especially food and drink and hedonistic. That's in British English. Okay, so Merriam-Webster doesn't say, just says it's related to the philosopher who started the movement, but Collins says it's that one, and American Heritage, according to the the summary, American Heritage said that too. So I think, and it doesn't do an MLL one. It's a whatever they had code before that. So American Heritage is probably actually is okay. Anyway, we um so yes, Epicureans is probably Epicureans is related to the philosopher who said that you should have sensual pleasures make life better. Which, you know what, I can get on board with this, and tends to refer to um, uh, the food. Okay. Sub ancestries, typically named after beloved ancestors that have passed on. Yetine, Wilfred, Gabby, Germain, Maxence, Eloy, Jocelyn, Eloïlie, Jobert, Celine, Lise, Luce, uh, Ariane. Okay, I'm giving them the French pronunciation, even though I don't actually have any. Like, I don't know if I'm butchering my minuscule knowledge of French. Let's see. There's three main sub races. Sub ancestries. Um, so Carters, Huts, and Trufflers. Gorman characterized the following traits: age, mature quickly, reaching adulthood by the age of 5, and live up to 40 to 50 years. So, a Fae. Let's see. 2 and 3 feet tall and weigh between 20 and 40 pounds, size small, so halfling size. Though small, Gormans are fleet footed. Your base walking speed is 30 feet. Boing. Thought to have descended from burrowing rodentia, Gormans have superior vision in dim and dark conditions. In dim light within 60 feet is you, as if we're bright light, and darkness as if we're dim light. You can't discern color in darkness, only shades of gray. Gormans are frequently chaotic in nature, valuing their freedom and independence. They lean toward neutrality, but their alignment can vary widely. You gain proficiencies in cook utensils. Yes, an advantage on wisdom checks that rely on smell. Like half works, actually. Sorry. In CNC, I know we're getting a little wobbly. Let's see. Um, uh, Most of you who know my streams know I tend to go off the rails a little bit occasionally. Um, Hopefully you will indulge me. I have crackers. Um, Innate sense of teamwork and coordination from working in kitchen brigades extends beyond culinary realm, allowing you to enhance your efficiency when collaborating with allies. When you or another creature within 30 feet of you uses the help action to aid someone in making an attack roll, ability check, or saving throw, add your charisma modifier to the roll. Once you use this ability, you can't use it again until you finish a long rest. So you can add one. I might allow it to be more often than just once per long rest, but essentially you can add your bonus to a help roll. Um, um, you can speak, read, and write Common and one extra language of your choice. Plus, all Gormans speak a secret language that is known to outsiders only as Kitchen Speak. Kitchen Speak. Let's see. Carter. So there's the Carter, Holt, and Truffler. Street smart and charismatic. Gormans who have honed their culinary skills while navigating bustling city streets. Oh, food cart people, that's why. Carter is in food carts. Food carts are actually a lot of fun. Yes. Sorry, we're getting a little off the rails, but they have an innate talent for creating mouth-watering street food and are often seen running food carts, delighting passersby with their delectable treats and entertaining presentations. When determining your character's ability scores, increase one score by 2, increase a different score by 1, or increase 3 different scores by 1. For a typical Carter, your charisma score increases by 2, and your dexterity score increases by 1. Possess charm and agility, making them quick on their feet. Yeah, so Tasha's rules says you can, um, change your, um, ancestry or race depending on, which, or species, depending on which variant. Same theory. Um, so Tasha's rule says that you can change which traits you get a boot, which ability scores you get a boost in based on your species. Um, Personally, I'm a little on that. I think pushing people to have bounds can, limits are good, um, and it does aspiring, and there are no negative ones. Like dwarves in Pathfinder First Edition had a negative charisma modifier when at character creation, and I still had my cousin play a dwarven bard, Pyomai, who was exceptionally cool. Um, he knew the crease spell, and he never got a good chance to use it. Anyway, you have advantage on charisma checks made to haggle prices or give you an edge in these social situations. Haggle prices or negotiate deals. Your charm and street smarts give you an edge in these social situations. I skipped a line. You possess a remarkable ability to spot street charlatans, hustlers, and potential troublemakers from a mile away. When you make a wisdom insight check to read people's intentions, discern their true motives, or detect deception, you may roll an additional d20. You can choose to do this after you roll the first die, but before the outcome is determined, and then choose which one is used for the check. Once per long rest. Okay, so once per long rest, you can get what amounts to advantage on an insight check. But you can use the lower one if you feel like that would further storytelling. Um, Hoes are the most refined and sophisticated of the gourmands. Strive to elevate their culinary skill to the highest level of sophistication, and create culinary masterpieces fit for royalty. They embody the essence of haute cuisine and are often sought after for their exquisite talents. Let's see. Increase 1 by 2 and a different 1 by 1. For table intelligence by 2 and charisma score by 1. Possess keen intellect and an air of elegance. You have expertise with cook's utensils, doubling your proficiency bonus when using this tool. Additionally, you have advantage on intelligence, investigation checks made to discern ingredients and preparation techniques of gourmet dishes or to recognize culinary influences in various cuisines. I mean, investigation checks to figure out food. That is, I'm sure that'll be useful at some point, even if it isn't. It's kind of fun. You have proficiency in performance skill and have advantage when using it to showcase your culinary talents or host a fine dining event. Trufflers. Trufflers are hardy gourmands who have honed their culinary talents while searching underground for rare and exotic ingredients. They possess an innate connection to the subterranean world and have adapted their culinary expertise to thrive in underground environments. Let's see. For typical truffler, your dexterity score increases by 2 and your wisdom score by 1. Are nimble, light footed, and have keen instincts from spending so much time underground. Underground cuisine. You have advantage on wisdom. Survival checks made to forage for food and ingredients while underground. Evasive burrower. You have advantage on dexterity saving throws made against effects such as spell or traps that target an area larger than a 5-foot square. Interesting. I would say you would automatically know. Well, yeah, I would say you would get. Yeah, I would say checks made to. I might give an extra bonus on checks made to identify mushrooms, or even just let them know what mushrooms did without even having to do a check, which I think is kind of cool. Feats. The following feats are available for 2 gourmands. Flavors of the world. Your travel and culinary explorations have allowed you to become well versed in a variety of regional cuisines. Increase your intelligence, wisdom, or charisma score by 1 to a maximum of 20. And then gain proficiency in one additional tool of your choice, such as brewer supplies or herbalism kit. Alternatively, you gain proficiency in one additional language of your choice. You can cast the Comprehend Language spell once per long rest without requiring material components. Or Savory Resilience. Your love for food and its preparation has taught you how to thrive in difficult circumstances, and you've developed a hardy constitution as a result. Increase your constitution score by 1 to a maximum of 20. You have advantage on saving throws against being poisoned and against disease. As a bonus action, you can consume a bite of food or a gulp of beverage to grant yourself temporary hit points equal to your level, plus your constitution modifier. Once you use this ability, you can't use it again until you finish a short or long rest. So basically a snack break. As a bonus action snack break, you can get temporary hit points. Um, Alright, that is cool. Oh, yes. Gummy folk. Traditional and Sour Patch. Um, these are fun. Gummy folks are gelatinous creatures that, apart from their monotone color and varying size, look nearly identical to one another. Their bodies contain no bones or organs. While they don't possess a mouth or similar orifice, they still require air and sustenance, which they absorb directly through contact with their body. While gummy folk bear striking resemblance to the oozes their ancestors descended from, they don't share oozes' amorphous physique. Instead, their body consists of a sprungy jelly that can only be deformed to a certain degree before it rebounds to its original shape. Further, the gummy folks long ago diverged from oozes' ravenous and mindless consumption, developing their own society and communities. These societies are typically collectives, strictly ruled by codes and morals. Gummy folk are sexless and often genderless. They reproduce when two adults merge parts of their bodies to form a new one of their kind. Over the course of a single month, all three individuals then regain the typical size and volume of their kind. In most cases, the offspring assume either the color of one of their parents or a mixture of both colors. In modern times, gummy folk strive to integrate more into other societies and express their own individuality. Heavy use of accessories or markings is the preferred way to achieve this goal, as piercings are easily attached and removed from their gelatinous bodies. It's true. So they can just swap out earrings and stuff, whatever. Which is pretty cool. Gummy folks are considered children until they declare themselves as adults, sometime after the 5th birthday, and before this period they are called by child names. Those names are often consist of two words, one describing their personality and the other describing their color. On declaring adulthood, the gummy folk chooses their a new name for themselves. While still containing the color, they replace their personality indicator with a descriptor that represents them. This is visually inspired by the unique assortment of trinkets or markings. So, child name might be brave crimson, calm red, curious silver, energetic lavender, fiery green, gentle gray, mischievous maroon, playful turquoise, resolute brown, stubborn auburn, talkative blue, or witty cobalt, something like that. Adult name might be crowned black, many amulets yellow, masked ivory, one shoe onyx, ribboned azure, ringed indigo, steel shield purple, three coin teal, three crosses pink, three feathers amber, or two pearl beige. Basically, you get some unique something that makes you that kind of, and then make that your whole thing. I suppose you could swap your names. Darth, hi, welcome. I was thinking of the same thing about wanting gummy bears, but I gave them up for Lent because they're sweet. So, no gummy bears for me. But I get to talk about gummy folks, so that's fun. Maybe if, well, yeah, this is the Gourmand's Guide to Gastromancy, which is a source book of culinary themed subclasses, races, or ancestries, or species, including gummy folk. There's a couple of backgrounds, including, what was it? We haven't gotten to the backgrounds yet. We started with these guys, the gummy folk and the gourmands, which are rodents from the Feywild who were blessed with culinary skills. And then there was the Feytouch morsels, which are people who have been transformed by the Fey into tiny pieces of food because of various reasons. But gummy folks, constitution score increases by 2. You can distribute, as per Tasha's, post Tasha's, you can distribute this improvement to your liking. That was kind of the first lean toward 5.5. And a lot of people considered Tasha's 5.5 and that they were going to do a new edition, but they didn't even give the new edition a new name, which doesn't make any sense because the editions are not compatible. But so we've been calling the, 5e 2024 kind of been called 5.5. So Tasha's was kind of the slow rollout of that, along with the swappable ability scores, which annoyed some players that I knew simply because they didn't. The new races introduced in Tasha's are I think they're going with the term species now, or ancestries. But the new ones introduced in Tasha's like Harengon, didn't get recommended traits the way the old ones were like, well, you know, The other ones got recommended increases, or the ones that had been standard before became sort of recommended, but they didn't offer any that were for the new ones, which was frustrating for some players. And this one kind of does offer those. Constitution increases by 2, or in your liking. Age. Gummy folk body rapidly evolves into a complete adult body within a month after being split off from their parents. They reach adulthood around the age of 5, and live up to 30 years before their body slowly liquefies. With their uniform appearances comes a collectively organized society with a common sense of norms. And the folk that leave their community for adventuring way of life lean toward more chaotic alignment, while the rest assume a lawful or neutral stance. Technically an ooze. Gummy folk come in only one of 2 different variations. You are either small with a height of exactly 3 feet and a weight of 150 pounds, or medium with a height of exactly 5 feet and a weight of 250 pounds. You choose the size when you select this ancestry. Speed. 30 feet speed. Your diction and mannerisms are viewed favorably, invoking a sense of cuteness or innocence. Gain proficiency in persuasion or performance. Bouncy. You take half as much fall damage, because you're boingy. Can use a bonus action to double your jump distance until the end of your turn. You can use this feature a number of times to stay equal to your proficiency bonus, and regain all uses whenever you complete a long rest. With the anatomy that doesn't feature any organs or bones, gummy bears don't have any natural weak spots. When a creature you can see hits you with a critical hit, you can use your reaction to change it to a normal hit. If you do so, you fall prone. You regain the use of this feature whenever you complete a long rest. So you can cancel 1 crit per long rest, as long as you're willing to be prone afterward, which is kind of cool. Speak, read, and write common, and one other language that you and the DM agrees is appropriate for your character. And the traditional have smooth gelatinous skin with elastic bodies. Wisdom scores increased by 1. Jiggle sensitivity. If you stand still on solid ground for 1 minute, you gain tremor sense out to 30 feet until you move again. Yeah, so if you stand still, you can gain tremor sense. That's pretty cool. A whole minute. So you can't do it during battle, but for between battles, that might be helpful. When a creature hits you with a melee attack, you can use your reaction to rebound at the attacker. The target must succeed on a strength saving throw or be pushed 5 feet away from you. The DC strength saving throw DC is 8 plus proficiency plus con. Your con modifier. Use this trait a number of times a day equal to your proficiency bonus. A number of times equal to your proficiency bonus per day. Yeah. Sour Patch Gummy folk are covered in tiny acidic crystals. Dexterity score increases by 1. You have advantage on saving throws against poison and disease. As a bonus action, you can emit a prickly sour particles and a 10-foot radius sphere. Creatures in that area that breathe must succeed on a Constitution saving throw or become poisoned until the end of their next turn. The DC equals 8 plus your proficiency bonus plus your Constitution modifier, and you can use this trait a number of times a day equal to your proficiency bonus. Okay, so you can essentially spore out sour sugar, but it's till the end of the next turn, so it's not a great effect, but it's kind of fun. I still think Rebound is a better ability in the jiggle sensitivity. Although, advantage on saving throws against poison and disease is pretty cool. Alright. So then we have backgrounds. Barkeeper. Professional barkeeper, well versed in the art of mixology and conversation. From behind the bar, you've served many thirsty patrons and listened to their woes, offering an ear and a friendly smile to those in need. You are no stranger to overhearing spilled secret or shouting down an emerging brawl. Persuasion plus 1 from among deception, insight, perception, and performance. You get proficiency in brewer's supplies. 1 language of your choice. And you get a set of brewer's supplies to take with you, a set of common clothes, a mixology kit, and a belt couch containing 10 gold pieces. There are many types of bars in the world, each with its own distinct style and atmosphere. Your time at one of these establishments has determined the sort of things you've seen and heard in the company you're most familiar with. Roll a d8 or choose one from the place of employment table. Let's see. Grimy pub where travelers come to stay and gossip float as easily as the drinks. A seedy dive bar where local gangs conducted illegal business in the back room. High-end cocktail lounge where the upper crust of society talked trade and politics over cocktails. A simple tavern where working class people came to enjoy cold mead after a long day. An extravagant island bar where you were as much a part of the entertainment as the drinks. A local bar frequented by students of a nearby academy where you acted as wingman for many aspiring scholars. A classic dwarven pub where filling food and live music made customers feel like they were mountain hold. Mm. A sophisticated elven fern bar built into a living tree where you served upscale enchanted drinks. It's kind of fun. Whatever the reason you left your bartending life behind for the dangers of the world adventuring, you can work with the DM to determine the exact nature of your retirement, or you can choose to roll a d8 and consult the reasons for leaving table. Alright. To determine the reason behind your sudden change of lifestyle. 1. You felt the draw of adventure after watching another adventuring party start in your tavern. You learned too much about a local gang and left town to escape the hit that was put out on you. You overheard rumors of an ancient treasure and left to seek it out for yourself. You discovered that several patrons were members of a sinister cult and fled their recruitment methods. You grew bored of barkeeping life and left in search of excitement on the road. You witnessed the bribery of local politicians and were forced to flee from their corrupt law officers. You meet someone who encouraged you to leave your old life behind and take on adventuring. You run out of town after getting too friendly with an important patron. Ooh, interesting. Social lubricant. You find yourself most at home in conversation over drinks. While sharing food or drink with you, people feel comfortable in your presence. You learn one piece of information they might not otherwise divulge. Interesting. Forger. You grew up on the edge of a tranquil stretch of wild lands and made a career of gathering its bounty of herbs, mushrooms, and kindling. You always dreamed of bigger things, but the land didn't give you a choice. One day it needed a guardian or an agent, and it chose you. Years of honing your knowledge and skill on the edge of the wilderness made you a worthy vessel for nature's ancient power. You get nature and survival, and proficiency with herbalism kit and one type of musical instrument. Equipment. Musical instrument carved from wood, one of your choice. A set of common clothes, a pair of well-made boots, a collection of field notes, and a pouch containing 10 gold pieces. Something happened in the wilderness that you once called home that set you on the path to an adventure. Decide what this is or roll a d8 and consult the forest encounter table. D8. So you were rescued from bandits by animals acting in unison like seasoned mercenaries. Afterward, one spoke to you in its own tongue, demanding a feast as repayment. In your own tongue. Spoke to you in your tongue, demanding a feast. You stepped through a circle of mushrooms, and for a moment you could hear every animal's thoughts. They are terrified of a creeping death. Which I guess could just represent the fact that they kind of understand mortality, but... For 40 nights, you had an identical dream of narrowly escaping a devastating natural disaster. On the 41st day, it happened exactly as you had dreamed. Amidst the harsh winter, an awakened tree approached you, promising food for your village if you chased a sinister witch out of their territory. You discovered a petrified dryad or other natural guardian. Its spirit called to you for aid, teaching you a poultice of berries and herbs that would restore them to their true form. You once returned a wounded owlbear cub to its nest. Years later, it appeared while you were out foraging and offered a gift of glowing fruits unlike any you had seen before. Ooh, there could be some fun ones in here. Hi, Elkintar! Welcome, welcome. The Gourmand's Guide to Gastromancy. We did some... There was the... quick recap. We got the... you can have gummy folk as a race. And gourmands, which are magical little fey rodents who can cook. And fey touch morsels who are turned into food by fey for whatever offense of the team did. And then you can have a background as a barkeep. I know you don't do 5e, but background is sort of yeah. 5e backgrounds are sort of like just stuff you start with. It's actually very helpful. And Forger is a background. This is part of the backstory. So you... What is it? Oh, yeah. So basically, it is you're someone who lived on the edge gathering herbs and mushrooms and herbs and stuff, and then something happened. You discovered a petrified dryad or other natural guardian. Its spirit called to you for aid, teaching you a poultice of berries and herbs that would restore them to their true form. You once returned a wounded owlbear cub to its nest. Years later, it appeared while you were foraging and offered you a gift of glowing fruits, unlike you had seen before. The river near your homeland began to cloud with black ichor. You instinctively knew that if you couldn't find the source, the forageables you depend on would wither. You took a nasty fall and shattered a leg. A majestic hart arrived, bearing a sprig of golden berries, which healed it. Sometimes you feel as though you can still taste them. So once one of them is stepping through a circle of mushroom, and for a moment could hear every animal's thoughts, and they're terrified of a creeping death. There's some interesting ones here. Um, basically, yeah. So basically, a lot of them though I wouldn't know would lead to becoming adventurers, but have some sort of odd experience in the forest, or come up with one yourself and have your DM approve it. A feature. Can I eat that? A lifetime spent surviving off the bounty of the land gives you an impeccable sense of whether a morsel is safe to eat or a bubbling brook is safe to drink from. If you spend 30 seconds inspecting a source of food or drink, you know whether or not it is safe to consume, and identify if a non-magical poison has been added or otherwise edible food or drink. This feature ordinarily only works on your home plane. However, if you find someone with similar skills in that is native to another plane, you can exchange field notes to gain this benefit on their home plane as well. Pretty cool. Patisserie chef. Ooh. Pastry chef. You are a professional chef trained in highly detail-oriented and delicate desserts, sweet treats, and baked goods. Part mathematician and part scientist, pastry chef in classic kitchens use precise measurements and timing to produce dessert courses that are both beautiful and delicious. Some specialize as bakers, confectioners, decorators, or in frozen desserts. You get perception and sleight of hand, proficiency in cook's utensils, and you get one language of your choice. You get cook's utensils, tinderbox, travel-sized cooking kit, a set of common clothes, a pouch containing 10 gold pieces, which I feel like a travel-sized cooking kit is just cook's utensils. I don't know why that would be. I guess you could probably get some ingredients and stuff. Probably like seasonings and such. After months and years of training, you're not in the kitchen anymore. Decide the reason for your departure or roll a d8 and consult the reasons for leaving table. Let's see. A newcomer in the kitchen outshined your skill set. You may want revenge or be desperate to prove yourself worthy of a glorious return. Your mentor was driven out of the industry after evidence showed they cheated in a local competition. You had to leave as well, either to protect your reputation or because you were already tainted by association. You made an elementary mistake in the kitchen, like swapping sugar for salt or overproofing your pastry, resulting in devastating consequences for yourself, fellow staff, or your kitchen. You may be looking for redemption or just another job. You've learned everything your local area had to teach, and you're hungry for more. You lost your sense of taste. Either that drives you to find a solution somewhere in the world, or you can't bear performing in your previous kitchen, knowing you won't experience the fruits of your labor in the same way ever again. A critic wrote that your pastry were technically perfect, but lacking some vital spark of innovation or passion. Now you're looking for it. You are searching for a rare ingredient that will bring you to the pinnacle of patisserie. This may be the accumulation of an illustrious career or the key to helping a newcomer stand out. There are tales of a legendary chef who baked desserts so powerful and delicious it drove away death itself. You seek their mentorship, or are in the midst of proving yourself to them. Ooh, that's fun. Feature, Breaking Bread. Anywhere you go, one thing is true. People eat. Food unites people, helping share culture and keeps people going. If you share food you have made with non-hostiles, you fit among them, despite any differences, with relative ease. You can trade and share food for a place to hide, rest, or recuperate among people who have eaten with you or eaten food you made, unless you have shown yourself to be a danger to them. They will shield you from the law or anyone else searching for you, though they will not risk their lives for you. So that's kind of fun. It's kind of like rustic hospitality, only you have to cook for them first. Barkeep, if you share food and drink with someone, they will tell you extra secrets about themselves. Or you get a little something, you put them at ease and they reveal more about themselves than they would otherwise. How much of that is up to the GM discretion? Take this out. Sorry. Alright. Magic items. Magic item by rarity. Okay. And then they're listed in, oh, I see. So these are a list of all of them, by rarity, and then, then um, blueberry bane potion, and then they're listed in alphabetical order. Magical flavoring is deep blue color. A creature that ingests this liquid must succeed on a DC 13 Constitution saving throw or turn blue, inflate, and expand into a round shape for 1 minute. While under these effects, the creature gains immunity to bludgeoning damage, vulnerability to piercing damage, and has a movement speed of 0. Whenever the creature takes piercing damage, it moves 15 feet directly away from the source of the damage. Violet Beauregard, I believe, is the character from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory this was named for. We got Brain Tingler. Magic Candy, you gain advantage on intelligence checks for the next minute, but must succeed on DC 13 Constitution saving throw or be unable to speak for the duration, as tingling foam spills from your nose and ears. Many-eyed peas. So, when you open this can, hundreds of peas burst from it and wait for you to tell them what to look for. When you speak aloud the name of something, they roll off in a 1,000-foot radius from where the can was open and search for whatever you seek. The peas return to the can after 1 hour, and you gain any information you would have gained as if you had cast either locate object, locate animals or plants, or locate creature spell. Once you use once you used the can this way, that should not have a comma. Once you've used the can this way, it can't be used again until the next dawn. So it's once per day. Candy hearts. This small metal tin contains 5 candy hearts. Consuming candy bestows +2 increase to your charisma score for 24 hours, to a maximum of 20. Eating more than 1 candy heart in a day gives you the poisoned condition for 1 hour. If none of the candy hearts have yet been eaten, you can instead use an action to activate their message function. While holding the tin, you can shake it to replace the magic candy hearts with 100 mundane candy hearts, spelling out a message 100 characters long. Once used in this way, the candy hearts are effectively consumed and cannot be used again. Huh. Oh, wow. That's fun. So you can have a +2 to charisma. If you want, if you get a +4 or a +6, but you have to take an hour of poisoning for each one above the first to eat. I would say yeah. That's a can of many-eyed bees. A cheese shield. Shield is made from a round disc of hardened cheese that never rots or spoils. You can spend 10 minutes eating parts of the shield to regain 2d6 hit points and gain enough nourishment to sustain you for 1 day. When you do so for the first time, the bonus in the armor class the shield provided is reduced by 1. When you do so for the second time, the shield is destroyed. That's okay. That's fun. There's actually a similar one in Brancalonia, which is the Italian themed. This is just before the Renaissance, Italy, just before the Renaissance. It's this Brancalonia, heavily based on Italy just before the Renaissance, and with all these different, it is so fun. But they have magic items, which I have actually had players play in Brancalonia once for a charity one shot. One of the deck building charity one shots. I think I did it for. Not for the ACLU. That one was they had to. I think it was one of the Trans Lifelines. No, it was Trans Lifelines because it was Sister Vincenza. And then when they got to the end of the pack, there was a Fae, the fairy godfather who had the pack, had his son trapped in the pack, the bottom card of the pack, and you had to pull the cards, but they didn't work properly unless you had the magic vibe, which was that being this particular adventuring party and having people donate money, that was the catalyst. No one knew what the catalyst was, but in character, but out of character, everyone knew it was because they got 1 card for every $5 donated. And then when they pulled the bottom card, the creature was free, and he granted 1 magic ring, and the magic ring and the Sister Vincenza. Sister Vincenza got her. She was a trans woman, and she got her full physical transition, magical physical transition, by a deal with the Fae. The same one who had originally done the same for Sister Katarina, who was like, but I have this magic deck, and he said he'd do the same for Vincenza if we got to the bottom, and can you help them? So they helped her, and Sister Vincenza got her transition, and she was, But yeah, they had to go. So they had to go fight through the nunnery abbey. I think the nunnery had a weird hole in their basement that was leading to scary big monster thing they had to go fight. Um, and afterward, they actually went and used. I think there were cows. I think one of them was just 5 cows because the magic items were very random. Sorry, I'm getting way off topic, but they one of the magic items was the cookie shield, which is in the Broncoloni handbook, which is you hit the shield and it tanks 1 crit, and then turns into it gives you +2 armor bonus, and then one time you can deflect 1 crit, but then it breaks and turns into cookies, which you can eat. They don't give any magical properties or anything; they're just tasty. But it does break and turn into cookies. Sorry, I'm getting very, very distracted by that. Um, and see, we're gonna do an ad break. Why don't let the ad break play? Then I'm going to. Mm, yes, that should work. We're gonna let the ad break happen. Then we'll do a couple more magic items, and then we'll call it a stream. I want to keep going for a little bit. Yeah. So if you stay and watch the ad, I get a little bit of extra bashish on the side, a couple of pennies, which add up over the course of the weeks and months. And boop. Addie's a good girl. Look at how cute she is. All right. All right. Okay. Whoa. All right. Boop. All right. We're back. Nope, not that one. Hang on. Hang on. Hang on. Hello. So there's. Ooh, there's a chef's hat. Hang on. Let's do a couple more magic items. Maybe like. Yeah. I can't do all of them because then I wouldn't have time to get ready for work. But maybe. Well, there's a chef's hat. When wearing large chef's hat, you gain the following benefits: proficiency with cook's utensils. Can cast detect poison and disease. Can only target food and purify food and rank spells. Once you have used this property of the hat, it can't be used again until the next dawn. Proficient with improvised weapons that are typically found in the kitchen, smashing people's face in with frying pan and such. That's a dancing fork. You use a bonus action to toss this magic fork into the air and speak the command word. When you do so, the fork grows large, becomes a hovering trident, flies up to 30 feet, and attacks one creature of your choice within 5 feet of it. The trident uses your attack roll and ability score modifier to damage rolls. Interesting. While the trident hovers, you can use a bonus action to cause it to fly up to 30 feet to another spot within 30 feet of you. As part of the same bonus action, you can cause the trident to attack one creature within 5 feet. After the hovering trident attacks for the 4th time, it flies up to 30 feet and tries to return to your hand. If you have no hand free, it falls to the ground at your feet. If the trident has no unobstructed path to you, it moves as close to you as it can and then falls to the ground the size of a fork. It also ceases to hover if you grasp it or move more than 30 feet away from it. So basically, it's a sort of kind of like spiritual weapon almost, except it's an actual physical trident that just flies around. Ooh, there's the cheat shield. A golden apple. A shiny golden apple spoken of in tales and myths. When you consume the apple, you gain the following effect. Legendary. Oh, the golden apple. So, if you read the Greek mythology, basically, the the goddess Eris, the goddess of discord, gave this app threw this apple into this feast with a little tag that said "for the fairest," and they were trying to figure out who the prettiest goddess was, and they finally were like, okay, we need a non-partial judge. So they went to Paris, this Prince Paris, and after whom the city is named, I believe. And then Athena and Hera and Aphrodite all made their pitches as to why he should, tell them the prettiest by offering him secret bonuses behind the scenes. He chose Aphrodite. Aphrodite, true to her word, made this woman fall in love with him. The most beautiful woman in the world. Unfortunately, the most beautiful woman in the world was married, and the war caused by that uh, did not go well for a lot of people. And then Odysseus was involved in fighting that war, and then got lost on the way home for years, decades. I think it was like 30 years almost. At least 10. I don't know how long Odysseus' Odyssey was. Anyway, let's see. So yeah, that's the story of the Golden Apple. Hit point maximum is restored and permanently increased by 10. You also regain all your hit points. Okay, so you regain all hit points. Your hit point maximum, if it was down, is restored, and you give 10 permanent extra hit points. Cured of all conditions, diseases, and illnesses. All levels of exhaustion are removed. All curses affecting you are dispelled. Any effect that reduces your ability scores is dispelled, and the ability scores lower than 10 are permanently increased to 10. Your memory becomes clear. Any age-related or magical amnesia or similar effects are permanently dispelled, and you gain proficiency in the history skill. You suffer the stress as if you had cast the wish spell. Interesting. Makes sense. Jawbreaker. It's common. This piece of candy is a swirl of colors shaped like a ball and hard as a rock. You can use an object interaction to suck on the Jawbreaker, which lasts up to a minute. While sucking on it, the Jawbreaker gives you a +2 bonus to your AC, and you must roll a d4 at the start of each turn. On a 1, you start choking. Choking creature is incapacitated and suffocating to another creature uses its action to perform the Heimlich maneuver. The creature performing the Heimlich maneuver must roll a d4. On a 1, the maneuver fails and the target continues choking. On a 2 or higher, the Jawbreaker is expelled and the target stops choking. After a minute, or if the Jawbreaker is spit out early, the effect ends and the Jawbreaker disappears. So basically, there's a 25% chance you choke on it, but if you keep it in your mouth, you get +2 AC. So, play with that. A lollipop staff. Lollipop Guild, the Lollipop Guild. Oh, sorry, I was just going to see if there was a picture of it. There is not. Oh, actually, there's only... See, a lollipop staff is a +1 bonus to attack and damage, made with magical quarterstaff, and +1 bonus to spell attack rolls. And whenever you hit a creature with a challenge rating of 1/8 or greater with the staff, it gains 1 charge to a maximum of 3 for 1 minute. When you hit a creature with the staff, you can expend 2 charges to cast the Salivate spell, or expend 3 charges to cast Candy Coating spell with a DC of 15, which are enumerated later in the thing. Oh, and they have Mighty Oven Mitts. Okay, there's only like a few more. Oven Mitts are embroidered with dancing vegetables. Have 10 charges. While holding it, you can use an action to expend 1 or more of the Mitts charges to cast one of the following spells. DC 15. Bigby's Hand takes 5 charges. Culinary Insight detects ingredients, and Kitchen Mitts 2 charges, which probably give you a resistance to fire damage, I would imagine. Additionally, you can use an action to expend 5 charges to cause your strength score to become 20 for 1 minute. For the duration, you can reroll a d6 in the place of normal damage on your unarmed strike, and a d6 plus 4 charges daily at dawn. Pack of gum. 5 sticks of fruit-flavored chewing gum. While chewing a stick of gum, you can use your action to cast the Levitate spell, targeting yourself. While levitating, whenever you want to change direction or altitude, you must roll a d4. On a 1, the bubble pops, and the spell ends. When the spell ends, the stick of gum becomes ordinary chewed gum. Let's see. Sponge of Cleaning. This tiny sponge cleans away all kinds of stain with absolute ease. You can use the sponge as an action to scrub and clean any surface, removing any dirt, blemishes, or impurities. While holding the sponge, you can use an action to cast the Scour spell from it, +5 to hit. When you cast a spell, the sponge disintegrates. Interesting. So it just is a magic scrubby sponge until you use it to cast Scour, and then it disintegrates. Skillet of Heating and Womping. Technically a mace, rare, requires attunement. You gain, Excalibur. +1 bonus to attack and damage rolls made with this magic weapon. Perfectly seasoned frying pan is made of cast iron. There's actually an interesting YouTube video debunking the use of a frying pan as a weapon, but they used a cheap Teflon pan and tried to use it as a sword as opposed to a blunt object, which I feel like You need the technique of a blunt object, not like parrying like with a sword. That's not how you use a frying pan as a weapon. And if you want to hit someone with a frying pan, you good cast iron one and do a lot more damage than whatever cheap Teflon they had. So it was an interesting one. Plus one bonus to attack and damage. Perfectly seasoned frying pan is made from cast iron. Whenever you gain a hit points or temporary hit points, the pan glows a fiery red. On the next successful attack roll made with this weapon, the pan deals an extra d6 fire damage and d6 thunder damage to any target hit and then ceases to glow. The skillet weighs 8 pounds and can be used to cook meals without a heat source. Fun. Sugary drink. Rare potion. It's 2d8 temporary hit points when you drink the potion, and your speed is increased by 10 feet. Additionally, your exhaustion is reduced by 2 levels. The effects last for d4 plus 1 hours. After the duration, you regain your levels of exhaustion, and your next long rest doesn't reduce your exhaustion. Yeah, popping energy drinks to temporarily coast, and then it comes back to bite you in the ass with the crash afterward. Mordenkainen Guide. This guidebook tells the best restaurants and eateries across the known plains. It was allegedly authored by the famous wizard Mordenkainen. The back half of the book is blank and can be used as a wizard spellbook. The book has 3 charges and regains a d3 expended charges daily at dawn. You can spend a charge as an action to cast Culinary Bolt, Salivate, or Satiation spells, plus 7 to hit or DC 17 save, or DC 15 save. Can spend all 3 charges as an action to cast Master of the 5 Tastes spell. If you spend 1 minute reading the book, the illusion of Mordenkainen will appear floating in front of you. The illusion has an intelligence score of 20 and plus 13 to Arcana and History, but will only discuss the contents of the guide, food, and gastromancy magic. So you can summon Mordenkainen to ask him a food-related question. Sorry, that's fun. Wishing Table. Wondersen, very rare. This object appears as a wooden box that measures 12 inches long, 6 inches wide, and 6 inches deep. Weighs 4 pounds. The item can be unfolded into a large dining table. When you speak the first command word while the table is unfolded, the table magically fills itself with simple tablecloth, big pitcher filled with potable water, and pots containing simple meals, and 6 wooden sets of plates, mugs, and cutlery. The meal provides enough sustenance for 6 creatures for 1 day. Once you use the table this way, it can't be used again until the next dawn. When you speak the second command word while the table is unfolded, the table magically fills itself with a silk tablecloth, 6 silver sets of plates, mugs, and cutlery, as well as a feast of magnificent food and beverages. Up to 6 creatures can partake of the feast, which takes a total of 1 hour to consume. Doing so offers the benefits of a Hero's Feast spell. Once you've used the table this way, it can't be used again until 10 days have passed. So once per day you can have a basic meal, and then once every 10 days you can have a feast that does Hero Feast stuff, which is pretty cool. So it's 1 Hero's Feast every 10 days, essentially. The benefits of a Hero's Feast spell, but without having to do the material components, which is kind of cool. Alright, monsters. Alright, I have work that I have to do day job. So, thank you very much for joining me for this tasty treat of a book. Maybe we'll do the monsters at some other point, but thank you for coming to hang out with me and reading through all the cool stuff in this guide. You guys are all awesome. Elkatar, Darth, and anyone else who popped in and didn't say hi in the chat. Hi, thank you for coming. Don't forget, day after tomorrow's Friday, day after tomorrow is Saturday, and that Saturday is not only the St. Jude's fundraiser, which is a lot of Greyhawk streamers doing cool stuff, but also my Rogue Trader game. I did not think that through. However, we're going to raid into one of the St. Jude streams, and I will put a link, a fundraising, I'm going to use Phantom's link, he said I could use it, and encourage you to donate to St. Jude's, because St. Jude's is awesome, and they do good work helping kids with cancer, get better, and just, and even though if they can't pay, they help kids even if they can't pay, and just helping the kids and the families navigate all of the medical nonsense, and, they do good work, and we always, Greyhawk Fundraiser always raises tons of money for them, and it's a big event. I'm going to throw some money into the pot. It's going to be great. And so we'll raid into whoever's part of that fundraiser after the stream. So I'm not officially fundraising for them, but I'm passing along because, it's a good cause. So we're going to raid into whoever's game is on at the time. And I will post other games in the Discord so you guys can donate and check out the whole thing, the fundraiser. And you should watch some of the Jayhawk games too, because it's going to be all day Saturday and Sunday. So actually, I think it's starting Friday night. So just watch some of the games, throw some money at St. Jude's. I would encourage you to do so. I'm not officially part of it, but it's part of the community, and I have participated in past years, and I always want to support them. So I made my pitch. Oh yes, so thank you for coming. St. Jude's fundraiser this weekend. Rogue Trader too. Saturday 10 a.m. Eastern. We got Flub on for the first time, so that's gonna be fun. Exciting shenanigans. Okay, thank you all. Let us go and raid somebody, right? I think raiding is a good idea. I always raid. Let's see, who are we raiding? Who are we raiding? More right. Oh, Elkintar, who was in there. Let's go raid Elkintar, because she popped in to say hi to us, so we'll pop in and say hi to her. Alright, let's do it. Alright, off we go. You ready? Take care of yourselves, and I will see you all on Saturday. Hydrate, food, hydrate, make sure you take your meds, all that jazz, and we are going.